Hey everybody, this is Steve Monday, Chief Forecaster for Rowan County Weather. Wanted to come in and give you a quick weather update as we're getting closer and closer to the weekend. Talk about this system that we're keeping an eye on here that's bringing the wintry precipitation chances to the county and, of course, the area over the weekend. And I wanted to take a look at where it is right now, how things are continuing to develop, and also talk about the potential for how we're going to see this mix of precipitation as we go through the weekend. I've had a lot of folks question why we might see lower snow totals in the southeast corner of the county with higher snow totals in the northwest corner of the county toward the I-40 corridor, as well as why the ice totals are less near the I-40 corridor of the county and more in the southeast corner of the county, why those are reversed. So we'll talk about that in just a moment as well. First of all, let's go ahead and talk about where we're at here. So, of course, here's our system right here, bringing some rain and snow to the northern part of the country, and then right over northern Texas here. That's our other low that we're keeping an eye on. And really the key factor is when these things make their turn together to come toward the Carolinas, and the amount of difference, the amount of room between the energy and the low, because the closer together they are, the more our chances of snow will go down, because as this low gets off to the coast of North Carolina and over the Atlantic, and they start to interact with a high over Canada, they're going to start to really work with each other, and they're going to have an impact on our snow. We're going to see warm air get funneled in with this, unless this low were to drop a little further south and get away from this energy up here that's bringing in all the snow and the rain that's going on in the northern part of the country right now. Let's go ahead and clear these drawings real quick. And I want to show you something here that I've got, really just to kind of talk about that warm air and how it's going to impact us. So I'm going to turn the drawing tools back on so we can use them. And we're going to start, first of all, during the summer, this is a typical setup we see. So here's the freezing line along the top here, and you see where it says freezing line and then going out across. And typically in the summer, we see this setup right here, where it's freezing above the clouds and then we get rain down at the ground. Sometimes we get hail that gets involved with this, depending on how high the clouds get with summer storms. But that's typically our summer setup. So that's not going to be the issue here. So let me put an X over that, because what we've got now is more of a winter type setup where we've got the freezing line in place. And so Rowan County, roughly from the southeast corner of the county to the extreme northwest corner of the county, is roughly 40 miles in distance from one end to the other, going northwest to southeast or southeast to northwest. It doesn't matter which direction. It's still, the mileage is going to be around 40 miles either way you go with it. So it's very likely that in the northwest corner of the county, up toward where Cleveland and those areas along the I-40 corridor are, they're going to see all snow, because they're going to get cold air. Well, they're going to see all snow for the longest. Let me put it that way. They're not going to see all snow the entire duration of the storm, but all snow for the longest period of time, because they're going to have the cold air from the cloud to the ground for the longest period of time. So they're going to see more snow in that area than we will in other parts of the county. As you start to make your way southeast, you start to get this warm nose of air that's going to come in from the southeast to the northwest. And what's going to happen is that warm nose is going to be very dense down toward the southeast corner of the county, and very shallow as you get up toward the northwest corner of the county. And what's going to happen is that's going to move into the Cleveland area as well. So their snow will start to be mixing in with sleet, freezing rain, much like the majority of the county is going to see otherwise. So again, you're going to see snow at times, regardless of where you are in the county. And then at other times, you're going to see sleet, freezing rain involved with it as this warm air moves in. So for sleet, what ends up happening is you get your freezing line, and then about, a portion of the way down toward the ground, you have warm air that's mixing in. And so it's causing the snow to melt as it drops. And then it hits a layer of cold air again and freezes on its way to the ground and falls and hits the sleet. That's where you hear all that clicking sound when the precipitation's hitting the ground, is from ice hitting the ground is sleet. And so you'll get that to happen. Now, other things we're going to see here is at times this warm nose is going to be very dense and It could be even as close as 100 feet from the ground. It could be even as close as 50 feet from the ground. But what's going to happen is that snow will fall out of the cloud, it'll start to melt, and it will drop as rain. And it'll hit this very shallow layer of cold air near the ground, but it won't be cold enough, deep enough for this to refreeze as sleet. It's going to fall as rain, literally hit the ground as rain, and then freeze on impact. And so that's what we're going to be looking at off and on during this system this weekend, throughout the day on Sunday, is we will see things start off most likely as snow very early on during the overnight hours of Sunday morning, sometime between midnight and 2 a.m. And then as we go through the overnight hours into the morning, some of that warm air is going to start to make its way in, and you could wake up to see snowfall, snow actually falling at that point, or you could wake up to see snow on the ground now with sleet or freezing rain falling instead of snow. And then as this system starts to make its way out late in the day on Sunday going into Monday, you can see it start to transition over to basically snow once again to end this thing out with some cold air wrapping around. But that's really the key factors here. And I wanted to take some time to explain that because it's been raising a lot of questions from some folks. And I'm going to pull up one more thing here real quick while I've got you, and we'll talk about, we're going to bring up the my Facebook page here for now, and we'll talk about the latest accumulation maps I've put out for rain and snow, or excuse me, for ice and snow in terms of accumulation and what you can expect to see here. And let me just pull it up real quick, just because it's going to be faster for me to get to these than it will in any other fashion, really, and let you see what we've got here. So first we'll start off with this is the snow map. Make this bigger so you can see it. So in terms of snowfall accumulations around the county, currently I've got us down toward the southeast corner of the county where more of that warmer air is going to come into play, around an inch, inch and a half of snowfall. And then as you make your way northwest and to the west, you'll see that the snow totals do increase. These are not going to be exact. These are just kind of ballpark figures of the amount of snowfall you could see in the area. It's feasible. You could see 1 to 2 inches down in the southwest or southeast corner of the county, and over toward Rockville, you could see between 2 and 3. And then as you get toward the I-85 corridor there, moving west, you can see between 3 and 4. Up toward Cleveland, you can see around 4, maybe even 5 inches if you get a heavy burst of snow. And then, of course, up toward that northwest corner of the county near the I-40 corridor, you could easily see, as much as 4 to 5 inches as well. But the ballpark figure right now is around 2 to 4 inches that I've got forecast for the county in terms of snowfall. Now, as I mentioned, that ice, the accumulation goes the opposite direction because of that warm air coming into play. The areas toward the southeast will get warm air faster and longer than the areas toward the northwest will. So we could see around 0.15 of an inch of ice accumulation in the southeast corner of the county, with around 1/10 of an inch in some areas as you start to head toward the west and northwest, and then up toward that I-40 corridor, you could see maybe just under 1/10 of an inch to a glazing of ice around the county, because that line is going to be so close for us as to how far that warm air nudges its way in. So we'll continue to keep you updated on that. Could certainly see some more changes to the accumulation totals. If we do anything, it's probably going to be adding more ice accumulation to this situation and maybe bringing the snow totals down just a little bit more. But right now, I feel pretty comfortable with where we are. We started out with 2 to 5 inches forecasted yesterday for snow. It's only been adjusted to around 2 to 4 inches. And then for ice accumulation, started out with basically glazing to 1/10 of an inch, and we've only adjusted to anywhere from a glazing to around 0.15 of an inch. So still not much in terms of changing things here, other than a few tweaks here and there. I'll continue to keep you updated as we go through the next couple of days, and certainly through the weekend, and then all day on Sunday, be providing updates to you right here on Rowan County Weather. As always, thank you for following Rowan County Weather, and enjoy the rest of your Friday, everybody.